We get to sit here, talk Illinois basketball. Illinois that knocked down and won 5 games in a row. And now I'm sitting here questioning how these people bump us out of the top 25, thinking that there are 25 teams in the country that are better than us. I don't know, John. I think these folks.
There's next week. There's next week.
There's always next week.
You saw Bama. Bama just beat Gonzaga, and they were at a top, or they fell. No, they're going to come back.
Well, I know we'll come back, but it was just a shocker to me that the so-called experts think that there are 25 teams better than Illinois. And seeing we lost one game without the most dominant player in college basketball, and then you get that held against you, where no knock on Michigan. I love that, Juwan Howard is one of my best friends. But, man, Michigan held on in the top 25 after losing 3 games. I don't know. I think that might be a little bit of biasness there, Illini Nation. I know how far.
Hey, if you're an expert, get on that panel, Deon.
Hey, man, all they have to do is let me on. I'm ready. I might be the only one that has played, that has coached, and that is now on the media side if I'm sitting on that panel. They need to let me on there, man.
You got the resume.
I think so, too. So, big fella, let's move into this last game. I'm sure you had an opportunity of watching the Illinois-Rutgers game. And when I was on the radio with my partner in crime, Brian Barnhart, who was also one of our guests on Champaign on Ice, we talked about making a statement, in that first game, making a statement and coming out and laying down the law. And especially when you're at home, it's already hard to win in the Big Ten. I know you over there at Quinnipiac, and I won't blame that on you, especially seeing you got family at the University of Illinois. I won't hold that against you, John. You're still my man. But you want to come out and lay a statement. And do you think they laid a statement, John, or is it just me? I mean, I think 86-51.
Yeah, definitely. 35-point win. I mean, like any Big Ten win, any in-conference win like that, it's going to be something to riot, like, especially with what you said, like, that loss to Marquette, and just feeling like the team was a little bit down, but then hitting their stride and right into Big Ten play.
Oh yeah, and that I always often talk about how I love the way the Big Ten does this now, and the way they've added the extra games. I mean, there's 20 Big Ten games, so every game is important, especially in the Big Ten. But the way they did it, the way Illinois did it, players are still hurt. Players are sick, coming off of sickness. This has been probably maybe the hardest coaching job for Coach Underwood definitely for sure in this early part of the season. I mean, he didn't realize or even know who his starting lineup was going to be before this game, because you had guys that were sick and injured, and so it's kind of like a triage center more so than putting together a 5 and your first 5 on the court, man. It was pretty ugly out there for a second.
Yeah, I mean, when you shoot almost 50% from the field as a team overall, like, you're doing something right. So especially when you got Plummer getting 24, Kofi getting a double, Grandison off the bench, like everyone contributing to the team in general without Corbello, and just showing why you're still one of the better teams in the Big Ten.
I'm going to say the best team in the Big Ten. I remember what this team did to Purdue last year. So until Purdue proves to me that they're better than Illinois, and not just by their record, I'm still rolling with we are the best team in the Big Ten. And yes, Illini Nation, I am a bit of a homer, but I'm honest and I tell you the truth too. But you mentioned something there that I know we expected this young man to be able to come out and, be a microwave and light up some things from the outside. But, man, Alfonso Plummer right now is averaging over 20 points a game the last 4. His shooting has been so efficient. But there are 2 things that, watching this young man that we felt at Illinois might be a little bit of a liability was his defense. Shorty is defending. I'm not gonna say he's locking people up like Trent Frazier, Illini Nation, but man, is he defending on the ball. He's defending off the ball. He's been great in help positions. Alfonso Plummer, we had him on not after this game, but the previous game. And we talked to him on the radio and we said, man, we knew you could shoot the ball, but what was your thoughts when you came to Illinois? The very first thing that young man said, he was like, I had to learn how to play defense. You don't hear people say that, John. I had to learn how to play defense, so I came to a team where I know I can light it up and play defense. I was shocked by his answer, but pleased at the same time. What you think?
Yeah, I mean, when you're that young of a guy wanting to get better at something that you struggle with is definitely show some form of like leadership and confidence building going into the season. He knows his strengths and he wants to strengthen his weaknesses. So coming into the year, he knew he could shoot, but wanting to get better on the defensive end to help this team win and help get them back to prominence and being the best Big Ten team is something that he had to work on, and he's definitely been showing that early part of the season.
Yeah, he has, man. I mean, he's been lights out, and just his energy when he steps on the court. I mean, I think it's infectious. And he and Trent Frazier, the way they are, they're like the Energizer bunnies out there, man. And they really have not energized just the guys on the court, but the people in the stands too. But you know who I have been most impressed with? I mean, I expected the growth for a lot of these guys, but what Coleman Hawkins, I call him the Hawk. What the Hawk has done, man, from his freshman year to his sophomore campaign now, from what he has done offensively when Kofi was out, putting up big numbers, to understanding and sliding back into his role now that Kofi is back on the court. Man, he was defending one of the best offensive players, not just in the Big Ten, but in the country. I mean, Ron Harper Jr., has been dropping dudes off for the 4, now 5 years that he's been in college. He's been dropping dudes off. And Coleman Hawkins, this is Ron Harper Jr.'s stat line, Illini Nation, just in case you didn't hear it. 5 points, 1 for 9 from the field, 1 for 3 from the three, 2 out of 2. Now, Ron Harper, and the reason I say the defense is so good, not just that he held a 20-point score to 5. Ron Harper normally shoots about, close to 20 shots a game, 15, 20. He had 9. And I had a coach tell me one time, I said, well, coach, I'm leading the Big Ten in block shots. And he says, hey, Deon, if you were a better defender, you wouldn't have to block so many shots. Now, the meaning behind that was he was telling me, stop letting my man get the ball. Stop letting him, get into positions where he's comfortable to be able to shoot. That's when you can tell you're a defender. This dude had 9 shots. That means he was not comfortable shooting the ball. That means he was not getting the ball when he wanted it and where he wanted it on the floor. And all that was because of, like I said, the Hawk, number 33, Coleman Hawkins. What do you think about the young fella? I know you had just a little bit, maybe a few chances to see him play. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, like I've definitely been seeing Ron Harper play in the Big Ten so far, and like it does show something when even when you are it wasn't good shots and he wasn't able to get the shots either way. So when you are playing lockdown defense like Coleman Hawkins was that night and has again through the early part of the season, you need that in the Big Ten. You're not gonna, a lot of guys can score in this conference, but if you can shut it down, that's when your team's legit. And only allowing the whole team to 51 is a testament to the team's defense, and especially with guys like Coleman and Plummer, like we mentioned.
I mean, you mentioned 51 points, man, but 31% from the floor. Now, I'm sure coach will be a little upset about the 41% from 3, but they didn't make a lot, nor did they take a lot, and 50% from the free throw line. And then another thing Illinois did, which they have kind of they've done this since coaches gotten there, is really like dominate the glass. And they dominated the glass again at a, plus 14. So there was 47-33 on the glass with 13 offensive rebounds. I mean, what Illinois is doing from a defensive standpoint, and they've held, I think the last, I forgot what the number was. We talked about it on the radio, but every team under 40% from the floor. You have to really be humming and cooking with gas if you shutting teams down and holding them to 40. I mean, especially high level teams that are in this conference, but throughout college basketball as a total, man. And I know Coach always hangs his hat on defense. And those guys, like you said, man, they're flying around, they're getting tips, they're playing great team defense as well as individual defense. This Illinois team has been impressive on the offensive end. I mean defensive end. But you talk about my big boy, man, Big Kofi, another double double, and I think that was number 33 on during his career at Illinois. I see him all. He's going to be at a double double position almost every night. Depending on the effort and as long as he stays healthy. But Kofi was a beast.